Hello there, good morning, and welcome back to the Football Tribe YouTube channel. My name is Robert K. Sarkos, and thank you for tuning into the channel from wherever it is that you're catching this from. Whether you're watching, whether you're listening, thank you for taking the time. And if you're new, kindly do not forget to subscribe to the channel and let's grow the channel. So, today we'll be doing our preview for match day 7 in the Premier League. Yes, it's already match day 7, and different games, or plenty of games, will be coming your way on Saturday. One game on Sunday, another on Monday, and then that rescheduled game between Burnley and Luton Town on Tuesday. So welcome back from the midweek action in the Carabao Cup. For those that bow out, take heart as we get back on track with the Premier League. So these will be the fixtures for the weekend, and we'll look at a few selected fixtures extensively as compared to others. But here is the lineup of fixtures coming your way between today and up to Tuesday there. So action will kick off as Aston Villa host Brighton Albion at 2:30 p.m. That's East African time, while at 5 p.m. AFC Bournemouth will host Arsenal. Everton play Luton Town. Manchester United will be at home against Crystal Palace. Newcastle welcome Burnley, while West Ham United will welcome Sheffield United. Manchester City travel to Wolverhampton Wanderers, while in the late kickoff at 7:30 p.m., Tottenham will be playing against Liverpool, both sides unbeaten in the league so far. And on Sunday, Nottingham Forest will play Brentford, while Chelsea will have to wait until Monday at 10 p.m. to visit Fulham at Craven Cottage. And like I said, on Tuesday, it will be Luton Town versus Burnley in that rescheduled game from match day 3, if I'm not mistaken, or match day 2 there, early on in the season. So that's the lineup of fixtures that will be coming your way this weekend, but our focus will be mainly on 3 games. That's between Manchester United and Crystal Palace, while the other will be between Arsenal and Bournemouth, and lastly will be Tottenham welcoming Liverpool at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So we'll begin things at Old Trafford, where Crystal Palace will travel back to Manchester after that midweek visit to the same venue, losing by 3 goals to 0 in that one. Alejandro Garnacho, Casemiro, and Anthony Martial on target for the Red Devils as they knocked out Roy Hodgson's side out of the Carabao Cup. So the game came on the back of a 1-0 victory against Burnley. Bruno Fernandes scoring in that one in the Premier League on match day 6. So, brilliant 2 results, back-to-back victories for Manchester United to help them build some momentum in their Sofian Amrabat did play that game. So, but their injury troubles continue to grow as they will be without defender Lisandro Martinez. The Argentine defender is expected to be out for up to 2 months or so with that foot injury. And then the other is Sergio Legrand. He will be out with a muscle issue. So again, challenges in that left back role. Remember, Sergio Reguilon was brought on loan from Tottenham to try and fill in the gap left by Luke Shaw, who is injured, as well as Tyler Malacia. So problems for United there, but I do not think they have too much to worry about, as the midfielder Sofian Amrabat, the Moroccan international, can play in that role, or else they would have to push Diego Dalot there. But then that would beg the question of who plays at right back if they do push Diego Dalot that side, because Aaron Wan-Bissaka is also out injured. So my good guess is that it will be Sofian Amrabat at left back and Diego Dalot at right back, while in central defense, Rafael Varane is back, as we all know, and then alongside Victor Lindelof. In goal, of course, it is the usual suspect, Andre Onana, while midfielder Christian Eriksen as well as Scott McTominay are all back recovering from their respective illnesses. Anthony, the Brazilian left-footed forward, is also back in training, but won't be in the matchday squad. I think it's about a fitness, given that he has not been training with the team for the last 3 or so weeks there due to his domestic violence troubles back in Brazil, those investigations that are ongoing into those personal matters. So, brilliant game there. It should be noted that Roy Hodgson has not lost a game at Old Trafford in his previous 3 visits. He's That's in the Premier League, particularly. One would wonder because he just did lose a game in the league, but this is particularly in the Premier League, winning the last 2 and drawing 1. So he will be out looking for that third victory. But United have not lost 2 consecutive games at home. Remember, their last home game in the Premier League was a 3-1 loss against Brighton and Hove Albion. Former Man United striker Danny Welbeck scoring in that one, Pascal Gross, and I think João Pedro, while the young midfielder handball Mejbri picked the consolation in that game. So they did lose their last Premier League home game, but so if Crystal Palace do beat them, it will be their second consecutive loss in the Premier League at home. But that would be for the first time since 2021, between October and November, when they lost to Liverpool and Manchester City in the Premier League back-to-back games. So they still have a record to just there to sort of maintain. Remember, before they lost to Brighton, they had gone about 20 games in the Premier League without losing, and then 31 in all competitions. Their home loss had been dating far back to that loss to Sevilla by a 0-0 back in September 2021, the Europa League. So, plenty of action that will be coming there, but Crystal Palace also have their injury troubles with Edson Eduardo, the striker there, who has had a brilliant start to this campaign, scoring I think about 4 goals so far in his games. Crystal Palace will remain without Michael Olise as well as Dean Henderson, Dean Henderson suffering an injury in that midweek 3-0 loss at Old Trafford. So those make Crystal Palace's injury list, as well as Jefferson Lemar and Giaro, all on that injury list for Roy Hodgson's side. So, like I said, United are back, 2 victories on the bounce in 2 different competitions. They will be eager to make another victory to make it 3, just to go up, just to keep up that momentum. Because remember, after this weekend fixture, they will be facing Copenhagen, I think at home, Old Trafford. They're in the Champions League tie. So, whatever happens this weekend, I think needs to be a good result for Manchester United to further motivate them as they head into that Champions League game. Remember, in the first Champions League game, they did lose to Bayern Munich by 4-3 there. So, Erik ten Hag will be eager to get another 3 points on board for the first time to win back-to-back games. Remember, the earlier wins in the Premier League were against Wolverhampton Wanderers and Nottingham Forest. So that win against Burnley last weekend brings them to 3 victories in the opening 6 games. So they will be hunting for the 4th victory in the opening 7. So, what are your expectations for this game? My expectation is Manchester United will nick this one by perhaps 2-1 or 3-1 if all things go their way. Remember, Crystal Palace can be a bit defensive. They are good at sitting back and they're waiting to catch you on the break. Those guys can be fast, the likes of Jeffrey Shearer. They're in. So he's one of those players that you want to, worry yourself. On a good day, he can make things happen. Do not forget about Eberechi Eze in that team as well. So that's it for that game. The other game, like I said, that we'll be looking at is between Arsenal and Bournemouth. Arsenal do travel to the Vitality Stadium, where they won by 3-0 last season, with William Saliba scoring in that game, scoring a stunner. And I think it was a brace from Martin Odegaard gave them that 3-0 victory at the Vitality Stadium. Also, last season they did beat Bournemouth home and away. Remember, the second was a 3-2 victory. They did concede very early on in that home tie against Bournemouth. Lapse of concentration and Bournemouth pouncing on that one. They had a 2-0 lead, but they did lose it. Reece Nelson scoring a dramatic late winner in that game, possibly one of the few last kicks of the game to win it 3-2 for the Arsenal. So they managed to complete a double last season, and Bournemouth will seek to take that bit of inspiration from the early 2-0 lead to think that they can pick up a result against this shaky Arsenal. They've had a decent start to the season, that is for Arsenal, because they are still unbeaten in the opening 6 games, winning 4 and drawing 2, but some of their results have not looked very decent or very convincing, if I'm to say so. While on the other side, Andoni Iraola's side are yet to win a game in the Premier League. They have drawn 3 and lost 3 in their opening 6 games. The last time they managed to beat up against Arsenal was back in January 2018, winning by 2-1. So there's a lot for them to ponder about as they head into today's game. They do have their injury issues as well. Striker Dominic Solanke, there is a doubt, having suffered an ankle injury in their midweek game there. It was a 2-0 victory against Stoke City in the Carabao Cup on Tuesday. If they will be looking to build on that victory, it was their first victory of the season. They will be looking to build on that by beating up against this injury-laden Arsenal side that has plenty of doubts ahead of this game. On their injury list is Urian Timber, out for up to 7 months. Thomas Partey is not yet back. By the time of the presser yesterday, it was reported that Declan Rice, Leandro Trossard, Bukayo Saka, as well as Gabriel Martinelli had all not trained with the team. But it is reported that Bukayo Saka did travel with the team to Bournemouth, but his fitness is a big question. So they will have to make a decision whether he's ejected or to play in that game. Remember, they also have big fixtures coming their way in the midweek and the weekend coming after this one. And so they have a whole host of injuries. That is Declan Rice, Gabriel Martinelli, William Saliba, as well as Fiera, who did pick a knock in their 2-2 draw against Tottenham last weekend. So a lot of injury concerns for Arsenal, but however, I do think they retain a fairly decent squad that can beat up against this Bournemouth side. With David Raya, who we expect to return in goal, despite the heroic performance from Aaron Ramsdale in their 1-0 victory against Brentford on Wednesday night in the Carabao Cup to help them progress through the fourth round. Reece Nelson scoring in that one. We expect David Raya in goal. We expect Takahiro Tomiyasu, who was the man of the match in that Brentford game in the Carabao Cup, the likes of Ben White, Gabriel Magalhaes, all to be fully fit to play this one. You have Zinchenko, you have Jorginho, despite his mistake against Tottenham, causing that second goal for Tottenham, the equalizer. He did recover well in that Brentford game, playing well and wearing the armband. You have Emily Smith-Rowe, you have Martin Odegaard, you have Kai Havertz, you have Gabriel Jesus, you have Edin Ketia, all fit to play. So whichever the lineup he sets up in this one, I do think they do still have the players that are good enough to go and pick a decent result against this Bournemouth side that are yet to win a Premier League game this season. So my expectation, and remember, Arsenal do play decently away from home. They're good at keeping clean sheets away from home. I think they've kept 3 away clean sheets this season, that is in their 1-0 victory against Crystal Palace. and in a 1-0 victory against Brentford in the Carabao Cup, and another 1-0 victory against Everton before that. So they do not score plenty of goals away from home, and they do not concede plenty away from home. So I do expect Arsenal to nick this one with all their troubles by at least 2-0 or 2-1 in that game. So, but they will be wary of Bournemouth, although Bournemouth can get them on the counter, and they have proved that their defense is prone to conceding goals, although that happens more often when they are playing at home than when they are playing away. So when they are playing away, they tend to be more solid. That is why my expectation is a 2-0 victory or a 2-1 at worst case scenario. Big tie coming there for the Gunners who are chasing the title, who will be hoping that if they do win this game, they will move a point behind table leaders Manchester City, who will be playing Wolverhampton Wanderers on the day out. They play away from home. I do expect Manchester City, with all again the injury troubles and the red card to Rodri, to still go ahead and win that match. Manchester City did lose their game against Newcastle in the midweek. They were knocked out of the Carabao Cup, but I do think they have the tools to go to Wolverhampton Wanderers and pick out a victory. Erling Haaland is still bright, so he will be instrumental in their trip to Wolverhampton Wanderers. The likes of Kevin Phillips, in the absence of Lodri, in the absence of John Stones, you trust the Manuel Akanjis will be able to get the job done in that defense, as well as Ederson Moraes protecting their goal there. So Jeremy Doku has had a brilliant start to his Premier League career, so you expect him to carry on that candle and help his side find a good result. Mateo Kovacic is back from injury, and Matthias Nunes are all available for selection. Phil Foden is the other key player for that Manchester City side, as well as captain Kyle Walker. So I don't think they have it all at their disposal to go ahead and beat up against Wolves, who have had an equally poor start to the season by all measures. So that's it on those games. Then the big one, the late kickoff on a Saturday, is between Tottenham as the host Liverpool. Now Tottenham have not beaten Liverpool in their last 23 meetings in all competitions. The last victory being a 4-1 victory over Liverpool at Wembley back in October 2017. So, but they have not won against Liverpool in that many games. And Liverpool are also unbeaten in their last 17 Premier League games. The unbeaten run dates as far back as April this year. And in that span of time, they played 17 games, won 12, and drawn 5 games. Some of those draws being a 2-2 draw against Arsenal last season at Anfield, while this season they did manage to draw 1-1 at Chelsea at Stamford Bridge in their matchday 1 fixture. So, but both sides are still unbeaten, winning 5 games and drawing 1. That's for Liverpool, while Tottenham have won 4 and drawn 1. Liverpool have beaten up against sides like Newcastle by 2-1. They've beaten up against Aston Villa. They beat up against West Ham and Wolves by 3-1 victories there, as well as Bournemouth. They're running their draw coming against Chelsea. On the other side, Tottenham have beaten up against Manchester United 2-0, as well as Bournemouth by a similar score. They did beat up against Sheffield United by 2-1 and also did win away at Burnley by 5-2. And their draws coming up against 2 London oppositions, that's in Brentford and Arsenal, all being 2-2 draws. So, but Ange Postecoglou is still unbeaten in his last 40 league games, that's at Celtic, and extending that record now at Tottenham Hotspurs. 40 games unbeaten, 35 wins and 5 draws is a record he would want to maintain. So both sides are brilliant. on the other side, we have James Maddison for Tottenham is back in training, in full training, after recovering from that knock that he did experience in their 2-2 draw against Arsenal. While Brennan Johnson will miss this one, having picked up a hamstring in that tie against Arsenal. On the side of Liverpool, they do welcome Alexander Trent-Arnold, who has missed the last 4 games for the Reds, but will be without Thiago Alcantara there. So, you do expect that both sides have decent squads to fill the best teams. They are not being troubled by way too many injuries as compared to the likes of Manchester United and Arsenal or any other team in the Premier League. So, now on the side of Liverpool, we've had quite a revolutionary midfield there for Curtis Jones, Dominic Szoboszlai, and Alexis McAllister there. Ryan Gravenberch, the summer signing from Bayern Munich, has been given in a running on a few games there, and he has performed quite well. Remember, he featured in the Europa League in their 3-1 victory against Lask, and he did feature in that 3-1 victory against Leicester City in a midweek in the Carabao Cup. So, Liverpool do have the tools to beat up against this Tottenham side, but it will be Tottenham's home record or Ange Postecoglou's home record that perhaps could deter them. So, a beautiful game of action that we do expect. Again, Liverpool are still unbeaten in their last 4 visits to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, winning there 3 times and drawing 1. So, they will go to visit Tottenham in high spirits that they are capable of picking a decent result. Only concern for Liverpool is that they're capable of conceding in any game, and if you do notice their last many games, I think about 4 games this season, they have won them by 3-1, but conceding fast. That is against Bournemouth, against Wolves, against Leicester City. Even in their 2-1 win victory over Newcastle, they did concede fast. So they are capable of conceding fast. But they do hit back in equal measure. They built it in them that even when they concede fast, they do have the power to go ahead and get a victory for themselves when they push further forward. The likes of Mo Salah, Cody Gakpo, the likes of Diego Jota scored a very cheeky goal against Leicester City. Now, Dominic Szoboszlai did get himself on the score sheet. It's been quite revolutionary in that Liverpool midfield. My summer signing so far in the Premier League, I think he's competing for that alongside Tottenham's James Maddison. So, beautiful stuff there. And on the side of Tottenham, again, like I just mentioned, James Maddison has been quite brilliant, as well as the captain, Son, very, very brilliant, has so far scored 5 goals this season, I think, scoring a brace against Arsenal and a hat-trick against Burnley in their 5-2 victory away at Turf Moor. So, a competitive game. We do expect Yves Bissouma in that midfield has been quite solid this season alongside Pape Matsar. Their Wodogi has been quite good in that defense. Did have challenges with Bukayo Saka, but managed to settle well into the game. Vicario in goal has been good. Christian Romero in that defense, along as Van de Ven, they have been good in that partnership behind. So we do expect Tottenham to try and push to get a decent result in this one. My expectation is that the two sides could share the spoils in a 1-1 or in a 2-2 draw there. So that's my expectation for that one from that visit at the London Stadium. So that's the key action that will be coming your way this Saturday and throughout the weekend. Just a reminder for you for those fixtures. Manchester United do host Crystal Palace, Bournemouth host Arsenal, Liverpool travel to Tottenham, while Manchester City do visit Wolverhampton Wanderers, West Ham play Sheffield United, Newcastle play Burnley. Burnley are yet to win a game this season. And remember, Newcastle's last victory in the Premier League was an 8-0 thumping of Sheffield United, went ahead and followed that one with a 1-0 victory against Manchester City. looks like. But before all that, they had beaten Brentford by a goal to nil, penalty from Carl Wilson there. So they have built for themselves some bit of momentum. That's why my expectation is that Ed Howe's side will nick this one against a Burnley side who play well but are not winning games. Everton play Luton Town. Everton are on coming to this game on the back of knocking out Aston Villa by 2 goals to one in the Carabao Cup there in midweek. So they have equally two victories on the spin, their last being a 3-1 victory against Bournemouth in the Premier League. So they will be eager to also try and build some momentum by beating up against a Luton Town that was knocked out of the Carabao Cup, if I'm to remember correctly. So then the other, like I said, the early kickoff will be in Brighton and Hove Albion as they travel to Villa Park to visit Aston Villa. Now, Aston Villa is one of the sides that know how to beat up against Brighton, especially when they are hosting them at home. So, big, brilliant game of football. Both sides play good attacking football, although Aston Villa do open themselves a little more as compared to Brighton. So, but Brighton come in this one also on the back of a 1-0 loss against Chelsea, the Carabao Cup. But before that, they did beat Bournemouth by 3 goals to one in the Premier League. And if we rewind it back a little, they did lose by 3 goals to two their Europa League game last week, but one. So it promises to be another decent fixture there that you all should look out for there. If I were to guess this one, I think Aston Villa may nick this one by maybe 2 goals to one. But don't be surprised if Roberto De Zerbi is able to turn the tide on this one. Anyway, that's it from the Saturday action that will be coming your way. And like I said, on Sunday, Nottingham play Brentford, while Chelsea fans will have to wait until Monday night when they play a Fulham side there. So that's it from the Football Tribe desk. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and I'll see you next time. Stay blessed.